Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Happy June. I hope everyone's having a nice summer. It's nice up here. I'm in New York City today. I'm up on my roof here. A little overcast, but nice. It's good temperature. Otherwise, it'd be kind of really hot right now. So I'm happy that it's cool. Okay, so let's just jump into it. I've got some new questions for us, and we'll take it from there. Okay, starting with Kelly Killingsworth. How do I become a better person and treat people better? How do I learn to communicate as a business owner? How do I learn to communicate with key leadership / mentors in my circle? Owner of Kelco Construction, LLC. We are an excavation and trucking contractor for the dirt world in Northern California. Background: it is imperative that I learn to communicate with my mentors, advisors, leaders, banks, etc. Something must have happened to me in my past that changed me in a not a good way. I need to figure out what that is, face it, and learn to treat people better, especially the people trying to help me out. Kelly, that's an awesome question. I can speak from some personal experience that, because I too in the past have had trouble with communication, or maybe even sometimes still continue to have trouble with communication. I'd like to know some specifics. Actually, I'm very curious by your question, so if you actually want to reach out specifically and talk directly, I'd like to do that because I'd be curious. Maybe I could be helpful. But just at a high level, my own personal experience on this is that I find that when people hit my triggers, which my main trigger is generally around people not completing whatever it is that they are supposed to complete for me, so that I can so that I know that they've got whatever the thing is I expect them to do, and they've got it, and I don't have to babysit them. That's when I start to treat people badly. And then when I start to treat people badly, how that manifests is that I don't tell them exactly what I want. I don't communicate clearly, and then it is kind of a downward spiral. So I think at a high level, I guess what I would start with, in terms of, if you want to just with one simple thing to try, I guess, is when you feel yourself going into that mode of I'm getting upset, or I'm not getting, whatever you see coming here, whatever made you write this, and whenever you feel that coming, I would say over-explain yourself. Focus your attention on over-explaining why you're reacting the way that you are, why you're feeling the way you are, and staying calm as possible, why this is a problem. Feel like it's painfully detailed on why the thing is bothering you, whatever the heck it is, to the person that you're talking to. Because sometimes, at least in my case, I was coached by an executive coach for a few years, and one of the things that she went over with me is that a lot of times I had things in my head that I never really expressed to other people, and then I would get mad because they couldn't read my mind, basically, is sort of what it came down to. So maybe that's a good place to start. At least it's something to work on. That when you get into that mode, stop and take a very detailed account of why you're feeling this way to this other person, and how they could help you get what you need done in a better way. So, but yeah, that's a very deep question, and I would need to know more specifics to get probably give any more better thoughts than that. Okay, next question. Ricardo Delgado asks, how does a sales professional build their sales skills? I own and operate a barbershop. I want to practice and help my team upsell products and services. How do you build a sales script? Let's start with the profession. How does a sales professional build their skills? Frankly, it's a lot of doing it. If you ever watch one of those YouTube videos where those guys are like, I'm going to get rejected for 30 days straight, and they just do all these things that they know they're going to get rejected for, and by the end of the 30 days, they're not fearing rejection. For sales, I feel like it's very much the same sort of process. There's a lot of psychology there, just on the being comfortable with the idea that I need to be actively making contacts, many of which are going to be either ignored or flat out rejected, and I have to be comfortable with that and know that it's a numbers game. So like part of the sales skills in my estimation is the psychology of being comfortable with that. And so practice, literally just practice putting it out there and having it not work is how you increase your skills as far as just being able to deal with that. And then you ask more about a tactical thing, the sales script. It's kind of related in that start with the script and know that it's probably not perfect, and then you're going to have to revise as you use the script. So if you're, take your best guess of what you think, how you think a conversation is going to go. Follow your script and see what the results are. If if your script is 7 sentences long and you're getting cut off halfway through the first sentence, then you probably need to revise that first sentence so that you can get people to engage more quickly and listen to the rest of your script. So it's really an iterative process. I would not try to get it right or perfect the first time. I would just start doing is the best thing you could do in sales, frankly. Sales is all about doing. It's all about action. It's not about getting it perfect or right the first time. It's just start doing. And the same thing with your coaching other people to do the same thing. You got to get them out there doing, and they've got to be accountable to actually getting stuff done on a regular basis. Accountable to you and accountable to themselves. If they want to be good salespeople, they've got to be accountable to action, to getting things done. Okay, next question. Robin Turpin. As a way to increase my brand awareness and art business, should I hang my art for a month in the local bank and library? My business is I am an artist, art for calm. I ask this because they do not let me put pieces on the art. I have hung work for 2 years. There does not seem to be any return. Is it important to hang for exposure? Thank you so much. Great question. So I guess the answer is no. If you've tried something for 2 years and you've done the exact same thing for 2 years and nothing has happened, then it's probably not a good approach. There's probably a better approach because time is not your friend in this regard. I would say that your best bet is to try something, put a time frame on it in which you expect it to work. If it doesn't work, then you got to try something completely different. So is the bank or the library going to be better than other places you've hung it? Maybe. I don't know. Is that the variable that you're going to change that's going to make the difference? Maybe. Sometimes I think as entrepreneurs, we're a little bit too patient when we don't know what to do. So we just kind of do the same thing and just think, oh, well, if I give it more time. In my experience, when I discover a business model or I discover a marketing strategy or I discover a new market to sell to, it works pretty fast right away. If it's not working, it's quite possible you're just barking up the wrong tree, and you need to make major shifts, like gear shifts, not just like oh, I'll leave it up for another week. If something's not working, make a fundamental change that's going to potentially produce a different result, right? Just doing the same thing for longer is not a good approach, in my experience. All right, last question. Ricardo Delgado. What are some practical ways to build relationships in business? I own a barbershop and I want to continue building relationships in my field. Are there any suggestions of how to do this effectively in any industry? So what I like to do is I'm a relationship-focused person in terms of business. I think that relationships are much more important than like digital ads or other things that you would be doing, like whatever. I think getting to a real person and just connecting to them is the way to go. And I also think that you have to go into the relationship without wanting anything. That's the problem that I have a lot of times with chambers of commerce and stuff, is that there's so much focus on people wanting to sell or wanting to something out of being in that room, is that they're not listening to what the other people need. And I think if you go into a relationship wanting something from someone, it's not a genuine relationship, and they're going to know that, and you're not going to establish a relationship. If you go into it saying, I'm here to help people, I'm here to be of service to people, and that's my number one priority. And when I say of people, I mean anyone, even if they're not a potential customer for you or your business or whatever, doesn't matter. Create the relationship. Put yourself in the room with the right people who will potentially be your customers, but do not approach them as customers. Approach them as a friend, as someone who's going to create a lasting relationship that has nothing to do with business potentially. So that's why it's also good you can go into rooms of people who are potentially your market, but are not like literally your market. Like if you're selling to, general contractors, like you can go to like a general contractor association because you know that everyone in the room is going to be a general contractor, and that's great. And I still would go there as a person who's looking to create relationships, not necessarily sell them anything. But you could also put yourself in a place where there might be other folks who are general contractors, or who are like when they're off duty per se. Like, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, but my general contractor was really into like trucks, like big truck, like the off-road events and all that sort of stuff. And so if I know that that's kind of like something that attracts those types of folks, maybe I get into that as a hobby or as a sport, because I know that those are kind of my customers there in their leisure time are doing these things. And again, because I'm approaching them as just another person and not that I'm trying to sell them something, and I'm building a long-term relationship. People like to build relationships around hobbies and interests as opposed to always just in business specifically. So yeah, that's what it is. I would approach it from a genuine, how do I help these people, versus I want something from them, or I want to sell them something, is the way to build a good relationship. Okay, that's it. Short list today. Happy to have any follow-up with anybody who wants to connect. But otherwise, have a great summer, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.